Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're jumping straight into the intense, hyper-productive world of Jan Kindyushenko. He's the head of Speak Japan, and let me tell you, if you want to know how a top-tier executive actually leverages artificial intelligence to absolutely maximize their output, well, you are in the exact right place. But I'm going to give you a little spoiler right up front. His most valuable skill in this new AI era, it isn't prompt engineering. It's definitely not coding. It's actually his relentless ability to use critical thinking.
So let's look at this core philosophy directly from Jan himself. He firmly believes that as artificial intelligence gets better and better at generating answers, the true human premium, what makes us actually valuable, is our ability to question those answers, to dig deeper, and to constantly, relentlessly ask why. And honestly, this mindset is exactly how we need to navigate a world that's so rapidly being dominated by AI.
Here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First, AI changes language learning. Second, moving from big tech to startup. Third, practical AI usage. Fourth, habits maximizing performance. And finally, number 5, keep asking why.
Now, before we get into his specific methods, let's establish why we should really be listening to Jan in the first place. Born in Russia, he arrived in Japan back in 2007, graduated from the highly prestigious University of Tokyo, and then just built an absolute powerhouse of resume. I mean, he honed his logical thinking at Dena, mastered global marketing at massive corporate giants like Amazon and Meta. But you know what makes his journey so fascinating? It's his dramatic shift away from all that corporate comfort. He left to lead the Japanese market for Speak, stepping right into the beautiful absolute chaos of one of the most exciting AI startups in the world right now.
Section 1. AI changes language learning, breaking the barrier.
Let's take a look at the actual project Jan is leading right now. It's called the Speak app, and it already has over 15 million downloads worldwide. Their mission? Breaking down the absolute biggest barrier to fluency. You see, traditional English learning focuses super heavily on grammar and vocabulary memorization. But the real hurdle for most people, it's the sheer fear and hesitation of making mistakes in front of another human being. It's terrifying. The Speak method totally flips this. They use an AI tutor to encourage massive speaking volume. It takes your learning data to automatically generate personalized lessons, kind of like a high-end private tutor, but with absolutely zero judgment. You can literally mess up 100 times, and the AI will never ever lose patience with you.
Moving on to Section 2, Big Tech to Startup, Embracing the Beautiful Chaos.
So why in the world would someone leave the prestige and safety of a mega corporation like Meta to join a chaotic startup? Well, Jan had 3 distinct reasons. First, a really deep personal resonance with their mission of transforming education. As a Russian who had to learn both Japanese and English himself, he understood this struggle intimately. Second was the phase of the company. He just craved that thrilling 0 to 1 building stage where he could really flex both his product and marketing skills. And third, the tech. Seeing a beta prototype of Speak's conversational AI right around the time ChatGPT launched absolutely shocked him. He knew right then and there that this technology was the real deal.
But as you can imagine, the transition wasn't completely smooth. Big tech culture is heavily defined by strict information rules and, frankly, incredibly slow implementation of new tools because of all the red tape. Startup culture? Exact opposite. Jan noted that at Speak, they immediately use the absolute latest best practices, but there's zero infrastructure, like absolute chaos. In fact, when Jan started, he even had to go out and find his own law firm to work with, simply because there was no legal department yet. You really have to love that kind of wild, fast-paced chaos to thrive in such an environment.
Section 3. Practical AI usage techniques, your digital sparring partner.
Okay, this is where we get highly actionable. How exactly does a top AI executive use these tools every single day? Well, for brainstorming and getting feedback on ideas, Jan regularly bounces between ChatGPT and Claude. For meeting minutes, managing docs, and sharing knowledge across the team, he relies heavily on Notion AI. But his absolute favorite hack right now, it's an app called Whisperflow. Picture this. After a meeting, Jan likes to walk outside to clear his head. He'll just speak his totally unstructured thoughts out loud right into Whisperflow, and he seamlessly mixes Russian, English, and Japanese while doing it. The app automatically recognizes the multiple languages and uses a large language model to perfectly structure and summarize all those thoughts. It's a real game changer.
Now, the truly crucial point here isn't just what tools he uses, but how he applies them. And that brings us to what he calls the second phase AI rule. Jan explicitly avoids jumping straight to AI to solve a problem from scratch. No way. Instead, he strictly practices thinking independently to form his own hypothesis or general direction first. Only afterward, in the so-called second phase, does he actually bring the AI in. Let me ask you directly, Are you letting AI do the thinking for you right from the start? Or are you doing the work and using it properly as a sounding board? Jan puts it perfectly. He says, I use AI as a consulting partner to point out the weaknesses in my own thinking, not to do the thinking for me. And that's the whole shebang right there. The goal is to continuously train your own brain while using AI. Think about it. If you just outsource your initial thoughts to a machine every single time, you run the very real risk of mental decay. You've got to do the heavy lifting first.
Section 4. Habits Maximizing Performance. The simple, relentless routine.
To maintain this crazy high-level, trilingual, multinational startup output, Jan obviously requires incredible fuel. But his secret? It's actually incredibly simple, yet rigidly, almost ruthlessly consistent. 4. That is the exact hour Jan wakes up every single morning, 4 to 5 a.m. Before the rest of the world starts moving, before those emails start pouring in, he uses this absolute unbroken quiet to plan the overarching goals and strategy for his entire day.
7. Now, to make a 4 a.m. wake-up call actually sustainable, Jan strictly ensures he gets 7 full hours of sleep. Yes, that means he is literally going to bed at 9 p.m. right alongside his kids. He also completely abstains from alcohol to guarantee that those 7 hours provide the absolute highest quality restorative sleep possible.
And this leads us right into his physical foundation. Jan intentionally blocks off his Mondays and Fridays from meetings, just so he can focus on high-level strategy. To stay sharp, he plays tennis every single week at 7 a.m. He also uses a personal trainer weekly, mostly because he knows a coach is going to push him to his physical limits far better than he'd ever push himself. For his diet, he relies on really simple image recognition apps like Calorie Counter. And get this, he has been logging his weight on an app called Simple Weight consistently since his college days. I mean, talk about discipline. It's this long-term consistency with simple tools that completely prevents laziness.
Section 5. Keep asking why. The ultimate career skill.
Let's tie all of these strict habits and powerful tech stacks together into one cohesive career strategy. Now, while Jan is clearly a master of hard skills, like those logical frameworks from Dina or complex global marketing strategies from Amazon, he actually cites Dale Carnegie's classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, as his foundational inspiration. He's been rereading it ever since his days living back in Russia. Why? Because no matter how insanely advanced AI gets, human communication and people management are always going to remain the absolute core pillars of long-term success.
And that brilliantly illustrates his next core value: dive deep. This is a famous Amazon leadership principle that Jan has totally internalized. Basically, it's the practice of continuously questioning why, to strip away easy surface-level conclusions. Look, problems are always going to exist in business, but the person who can dig way past the symptoms and uncover the real, essential underlying issue, that's the person who becomes utterly invaluable to any organization.
So, Jan's ultimate advice to professionals trying to navigate this crazy, chaotic landscape is this. The most important skills for the AI era are critical thinking and problem solving. It really doesn't matter if you're in marketing, engineering, education, you name it. The ability to find a problem, logically break it down, and actually solve it, that is the most universal, timeless, and valuable skill you could possibly build right now.
Which leaves us with one final, absolutely critical question for you to take away today. Look at your very next task at work. Are you just letting AI generate easy answers for you so you can check off a box? Or are you relentlessly asking why to uncover the real challenge? Try applying Jan's Phase 2 mindset. Build up your discipline, and above all else, keep asking why. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.